Okay, great.
Thank you so
When
much.
we jump right into it right now?
Yes, please
Ready?
feel free and
Okay.
thank you so much for your time.
Also, thank you so much. Thank you, SendPulse. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, wherever you're from. My name is ARVELL Craig, and I'm excited to talk to you all about my perspective on AI, a very specific and unique way of looking at AI. I mean, we've got so many different experts, so many different professionals sharing different things. I have a very specific way that I choose or normally present information. We've got about, 30 minutes? I got my timer set for 25 minutes. I definitely want to have some time for Q&A. So feel free to ask me any questions if you have any. And hopefully I can share my screen without any issues. And I will hope for the best. And we will get right into it. Let me go here, And all righty. So my screen is shared. Make it a slideshow. Great, awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this AI Marketing Day. My name is ARVELL Craig, but let me first start off with a confession. I just want to let you all know that sometimes I don't like to share it, but I chase shiny objects. I mean, I don't know about you, but I get really excited about new technology. If you're a person who gets excited about new technology and ways to cut time, make money, can you put something in the chat here? Anybody else like shiny objects? Anybody get excited? I mean, to me, that's what got me into the internet. I mean, if I were to go back when I was a kid, I'm kind of older than I look, but there were these gadgets. These are some of the gadgets that excited me that I used to use in high school and in college because I always liked technology that could help me to be more organized, more productive, ideally, make more money with less energy. That's how I've always been. Even when I was in college, I remember I was studying engineering, but I remember reading, it could have been this exact magazine talking about the internet and the promises of the .com and what was going to happen. And I could be creative, I could be innovative with tech, and I could make money. And that's like the trifecta that have always excited me and got me into business and got me into the internet and got me into marketing. And so it's, of course, when ChatGPT comes out, I was an early adopter. I was using it. I was trying to figure it out within I'm certain it was in November, December 2022. I was using it and I was trying to figure out how I could use it with business. And I remember going to this workshop and it taught how to write a book with ChatGPT. It was like a 7-hour course. So I had a client. I said, hey, if you buy this course for me so I can learn about this AI stuff, I will write you your book. And the client said yes. So here's the thing. It was a 7-hour workshop. It didn't just teach how to write a book. It also taught how to market the book, how to create a video sales letter and email marketing and social media and ads and all these other things. And the thing is, within 2 hours, the client's book was done. So I'm like, what else am I going to do during this time? So I decided I'm going to write my own book. So I spent the next hour, 2 hours in this workshop, and I wrote my own book. It took me about 2 hours to make the first draft, and then about another hour to 2 hours adding other content because I'm very passionate about partnerships. Just as my business philosophy as I've gotten older, I really want to work with other people. I want to collaborate. I just love partnerships. And I realize that when I get stuck, when other people also get stuck, some of us try to do too many things and we think we have to be the smartest. We have to know everything. We have to control everything. But I realize that the more I release, the more I partner, the more I focus on my strengths, I can partner with other people and we can do much more together. So I wrote this book. It took about 4 hours and it was done. But here's the thing. So using ChatGPT, I was writing books for clients. I was writing books for myself. But one thing with me is like I had this book done, which is, I've written other books in the past and they've taken months or years. But this is what was kind of freaking me out a little bit. I've got this ChatGPT. It's so smart, right? ChatGPT, its brain is based upon all the text in the known world that I guess the company could find online and borrow or get trained on all the internet. ChatGPT is so smart. And I was thinking after like 6 months of using it from the time it came out, I'm like, why is it that I'm not rich yet? You know, we have this AI in our pocket. Everybody can use it, even if it's not perfect. It's still infinitely more smart than any one person. What's the gap? Why are we not all rich? Why isn't everybody excited? And that question began to really frustrate me. And I don't know if anybody heard this book. I was listening to a lecture from this guy. The book is from like the 1980s. And I know I've heard about it. It's a classic business book. But I heard this guy say on this Ellie Goldratt, it was making a 10, 20-year-old webinar or video, and he made a comment saying technology can only bring benefit if it diminishes limitations. He was talking about new and past technology innovations that made no difference in people's lives because they weren't focused on the limitation. They didn't focus the tech in the specific area where it made the biggest benefit or where they've been stuck. And I realized this quote was the key for me, and it was the key to how to use AI, because I was using AI to write a book, but the book did not unlock a limitation for me. Me using AI to write a book at that time it wasn't a big problem in my business. So that's what I find a lot of people do. They're looking at AI as a shiny object and they're experimenting, they're playing around, but they're not focused on the core limitations of their business. Does that make sense? It's a huge thing that I really want you to understand before we keep going, because this is going to make the biggest difference for you. Because even though I like shiny objects, I like tech for a reason. And we have to like not get distracted by the AI. We have to be focused on what is needed in our lives and businesses. So that is what I'm here to talk to you about. How do you find, because it's very specific. You can hear me talk about how I use AI. You can find another person talk about what they're doing, but you have to know your own business model, the way money flows to you, the way results flow to you or your client or your organization or whatever, and focus the AI on where it makes the difference. So that's what we want to get into in our time. So again, my bio, my background, in short, I've got over 20 years in digital marketing. I started focusing on conversational, it wasn't even AI, it was really just chatbots and conversational marketing around 2017. And you can see here in this picture, the three things that govern my life is one, there's a conversational AI software, V-Agents and Call Comply for contact centers, call centers, larger companies. That's my day job, my focus. But I'm also focused on speaking, which is a passion of mine. I'm here because it's my passion to teach and educate and help people get breakthroughs. And then I also love partnerships. So if any of you here have an AI related business, an AI related or a marketing service, and you want to partner and collaborate on AI, I just love to work together, because I realize if we work together, there's so much more that can happen than one person trying to be the smartest in one area. So reach out to me if that's an interest of yours. So let's get into the content. There's three main things I want you to understand. Three things I want you to walk away with. Okay. Number one, it's going to be understanding the constraints in your life, your business model, or your clients. If you're using marketing to help clients, yes, they want money, they want sales. But if you're going to use AI to fix their marketing, you have to know what the need is. You got to know this constraint. Then once you know the constraint, we get into the capabilities, the unique, specific capabilities of generative AI. And then thirdly, how do you come up with a scalable solution, not just a one-time, 5-minute time saver because I wrote AI helped me write an email, but what's the scalable process? Okay. Sound good? So that's what we want to get into. So number one, let me talk a little bit more about the constraints. And so the key here is that you have to focus internally before you look externally. You have to know your business really well more before you know about what AI can do, I want you to really pinpoint the constraint, the bottleneck, the pain, the thing that's not working in your current flow of value, your flow of business. So one way I like to describe it, imagine that there's a football team or a soccer team or whatever sport. I know we're like international audience here, but I'm thinking about football in the US. And I had this imagination that if you had like some magic gloves in football, you got the team, they get the ball, they got to throw it. Somebody has to catch it and make it to the end zone. What if you had a magic glove? It's like the AI, a magic glove that could make the quarterback throw the ball perfectly, never missing, and throwing it 200 miles an hour, faster than anybody could ever throw, and perfect. What if that's like AI? But what if the team, you see here, this, those circles here, if you don't have a good offensive line, if you can't stop the other team from tackling the quarterback before he can even throw the ball, it doesn't matter how fast he can throw the ball if he never gets a chance to throw it. Make sense? So in this illustration, the football team needs to know where's the constraint, where's the problem. Because if the quarterback is not the problem, you don't need to give the quarterback the magic gloves. If the problem is your offensive line that stops and blocks the other team from tackling your quarterback, that's the place that needs the magic glove, right? So you have to find where, because if you don't stop the place where your biggest problem is, you can never even take advantage. It's like if I were to show you how you can use AI to automate sales conversations, and I can show you that. But if you don't have a good outreach, or if you don't have a good marketing that's going to bring in leads, where you have so many leads that you need AI to talk, to have conversations with those leads, the chatbot won't ever help you unless you have so many leads. So we have to figure out, if your company needs leads, then maybe how can AI help that? If your company needs customer support, maybe that's where AI needs help. If your company needs to turn the leads into sales or book meetings, then that's where AI. If you don't have any marketing, so that's the kind of way I want you to think about where in your business. So where's the constraint? So here's a little illustration here. You got this flow from customers, suppliers, the teams. And so what I try to figure out with people, do you have an issue, or is your constraint being on time? Is your constraint, a lack of quality? Is your issue you're not profitable? Is your issue there's no demand? There's nobody even coming into your business. We have to find out what your business needs. And then, I say come up with a couple of them. You have to go internal before external. You have to find your problem first. And that problem, those constraints, they become the filter. They become the glasses that you use when you start looking into what AI does. Okay. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast here, but so you got that? We have to figure out the constraints. And then when you figure out what you need most, again, when I wasn't speaking, I didn't need a book. If I use AI to write a book in 4 hours compared to 4 months, that would not do anything in my business unless that was the constraint. But now that I understand where my constraint is, when you know what you need or what your client needs, you may need come up with 2 or 3 ideas, then we look into what AI does. Because again, if AI is just writing for you, but you don't have a problem writing, then it's not that interesting. It's not a breakthrough. It's not a powerful opportunity. Okay. So again, we want to look at generative AI specifically. AI is a big topic. AI has been around for over 50 years, 70 years, I guess, since the 1950s. And you can see here, but generative AI is 3 or 4 years old. And generative AI, as most of y'all know, probably, it does something specific. But the way I like to look at it, I look at generative AI's ability in 4 specific categories or capabilities. It generates content, code, counsel, and conversations. These are the 4 things that it does very uniquely for anybody who's, whether you don't have to be an engineer, you don't have to be smart. As long as you can type a little bit of words, you can ask it questions and get it to do stuff for you. But in my opinion, using AI through an AI model like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, that's only one way to use it. And unless you're a prompt engineer, as the previous speaker talked about, you have to learn how to write prompts. You have to learn how, it's like a foreign language. ChatGPT is so smart, but it's almost like you've got to learn a new language to really get the benefits from it, which is okay. It's okay to learn prompts, but some of you might not want, it may not be worth your time as a business to focus too much on how to write the best prompts, because there's other ways to use AI. You don't just need ChatGPT and those models. You can find niche apps. Niche apps are like built on top of ChatGPT or AI. They're built on top of them. They have the prompts to me built into them. So that might be your way to do it. Number 3, there are almost every software company is building AI into their products, like SendPulse, right? They're adding AI features into their solution. So you may not need to go to ChatGPT. You might not need to find some brand new service and app that you never heard of. You might want to use something like SendPulse because they're adding AI features into it. And if a company that's established adds AI features, the prompting, the prompt engineering, those kind of things are already built into it. Okay. And then lastly, your company, depending on your resources, you might use some custom app. So these are 4 different ways to use AI. So generative AI does 4 things. It does content, code, counsel, and conversations. But the way you apply it in your business, you either use the model directly, a niche app, a legacy or existing software that you know, your tech stack that may already have AI features into it, learn those. And then lastly, there's the custom code, custom applications, whether no code or code-based solutions. Okay, so again, this is a big slide for you to understand, because most people, I tell them, it may, I always spend time in ChatGPT and in Claude, but I also have a lot of I use the AI that's built into my other tools, and that helps me to get the breakthrough quicker. And it doesn't matter how smart I am or how many prompts I know. Okay. So I'm going to skip this slide about from a larger organization. Of course, you need some structure, you need some policies, you're going to need some investing, you're going to need some leadership in these 5 different areas. There's cybersecurity needs. If you need resources, if you have a larger company, I can share more about that later, but for the sake of time, I want to keep moving and come to our couple. I want to give you some specific examples of how do we bring all this together. Okay. And so number 1, just to make sure we're all following what we're talking about. Know your constraints in your business, your weaknesses, the opportunities that slow you down. And that is the filter. So now when you're hearing about AI strategies, when you hear about AI capabilities, oh, wow, it can do this, it can do that, it can do that. You should always be asking yourself, how does this new capability unlock a constraint that slows us down? And then number 3 is where you look for some type of scalable opportunity, where it's not just a one-time solution. It's something that you add into your processes that give you a competitive advantage, against your competitor. Again, like the last speaker talked about, you want to get an ROI. The biggest ROI isn't just, again, saving 5 minutes by brainstorming with AI. The biggest opportunity, the biggest ROI is when you find some scalable solution that you can leverage across the largest possible area. So let me kind of tell you what I mean. So when I think about scalability in AI, I'm thinking about what is it that you do in your business that's consistent, that's repeatable, that happens in a massive batch process. Is there something that you're doing often, because the more you do it, the more opportunity there is to bring AI. And I want AI to unblock or unlock a constraint. So typically when I'm helping out a company, I'm looking for where in your business that you have one person doing something where we can how can we get one person to do 10 times more or act as if they were 10 people? Is there a place in your business where that would happen? Or if we did give 10 times more, like for me, for writing a book with AI, if I was in the book publishing business, that ability to write a book in 4 hours versus 4 months is a game changer because of that business model in the books or publishing. If that was my business model, right? The other thing I'm looking at is, again, if something takes 10 hours or 10 days, how can AI do things so much faster? Can I get can I go from 10 to 1? That's what I'm looking for when I'm curious about what can unlock a constraint. Okay, so again, let's talk marketing. So in marketing, you've got different types of marketing, different stages of a customer journey. The way I look at it, the way I learned about AI and marketing was looking at 5 different ways or stages in marketing, from when you're planning a campaign, when you're producing content in a campaign, and then sometimes you want to personalize the content or personalize the outreach. That changes the conversion rate a little bit. Then you got the promotion. You got the content created, but you need distribution. You need it out into the world. And there's that stage. And then lastly, there's the performance. How do we optimize? How do we look at what we're doing, analyze the results, and get better? So all these 5 categories are opportunities to add AI. But remember our number one point: before we add AI, we have to know that the category, the problem it's a constraint. It's a problem. You might not have a problem with planning. You may or may not have. So you may or may not need AI there. Where do most people need AI, or where is most marketers' constraints? I found it's either the volume, they're not producing enough content. There's so much content in the world, you can't do too much. I don't know if you know that or not. Some people are like, I don't want to send an email twice a week, or I don't want to post too much. I don't want to burn my list. For the most part, in most businesses, they're not producing enough content. And also, number 2, most companies are not creating contextual content. Like, they're only in email and Facebook and Instagram, but they're not in a podcast, they're not in YouTube, they're not on TikTok, they're not on Twitch. So what if, and of course we all have the limitations of our staff, so that's an opportunity. Can AI help us increase our volume? Can it increase the media types? And again, when it comes to like promotion, AI is already built into Facebook and Google. It's, AI machine learning has already been in their algorithms for years. And most people that I know that buy media, they leverage the AI. They understand the AI that's built into Facebook. So they don't have to come up with some new generative AI. They just leverage the AI that's already built in there. So I want to highlight a few things, and then we'll go into some Q&A. So if you got questions on any of this, in about 2-3 minutes, I will start looking at the questions or the comments area. So one thing I created, so speaking of books, I mentioned books. I do have a book that I recently wrote, and it specifically goes over these 5 areas, and it talks about strategies in these 5 areas if that's something that you need. So for example, if your company is creating content, but you're not creating video, or if you're used to just long video and you don't have short form video, I think some of you may know there's AI that can edit your video. So that is an example of an AI app that you can use to increase your marketing by helping you to take your video and to be an Instagram reel or a TikTok, post. You can create TikTok style videos using, play number 7. There's AI that does video, right? And that, if you don't need an editor to spend days and days and days editing video, when you can use AI. And as I mentioned earlier, there's AI that does sales conversations and customer support calls. If you have a large company or a small company, if you have too many leads or opportunities or customer support chats and you're not responding fast, that might be your bottleneck. And that is a one play, an example, play number 13 from the book, is an opportunity for you to add AI into your business. So one person can, with one AI, can have 10, 20, 30 conversations at the same time. And that can help you to can take advantage of that. I mentioned Facebook. Facebook, it really is AI. The algorithm of social media, I would say it is AI, but you have to understand how to. Do you understand the AI of Facebook? And if you're gonna, and I got a friend who teaches people how to understand AI, so you don't have to manage your ads as much. You don't have to hire an ad agency. You can actually learn Facebook's AI and what it does, and therefore you can take advantage of it, and you save your costs for managing ads in a traditional way before there was AI. So again, there's tons of it, and it's my friend Eric says if you understood Facebook's AI, you would never hire an ad agency again. So there's all these different plays. Um, Again, for time's sake, I'm going to run through. These are cost center AI that I work in. That lets larger companies have AI that makes phone calls. So again, the big point here is that it's not about what AI can do until you figure out first figure out your business constraints. And based upon your constraints, you align that on top of what generative AI does. And that's how you find the biggest opportunities. You can find some kind of scalable thing, something that you do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, something that's complicated that you can use AI to do to cut time, to cut costs, but it's all relative to your business model. And I know we're almost out of time. If you want to, I assume you can look in the chat here, just in case we're almost out of time. So again, if you want to check out my book, it just came out this week. You can scan this code. And if you want to connect to me as well, we can connect. There's my personal connection. Oh, we go. Let me just look in the comments here. And again, and the slides, I am giving them my slides so you can kind of understand kind of what I'm talking about. And let me see if there's anything in the, I don't see any questions here. If you could confirm, I think I'm at the right time. I will
Yes,
pause
you
for a
were
minute. Hey,
perfect.
Bianca, see you.
Hello. So we have
Hello.
kind of one question here. They want to know
Yeah.
how to scale sales with AI. You already mentioned what things people can do. So do you have any extra tip to give it?
Yeah. So again, if you want to scale your sales, again, to me, there's a little bit of Q&A. I want to know, are you seeing you have so many leads and you're not contacting them? You know, is there a lack of, do you need more leads? Do you need to convert more leads? You know, because there's AI that can do outreach as far as like you can do like cold email with like a cold email platform like Mailshake or Instantly. There's an AI called but there's AI that can do outreach. So you got to figure out what's the sales process. The main thing I do, I help people increase conversions with AI that can either use an SMS or phones that can actually talk to people on their own. So it's more automated. But again, I would want to make sure that they've got enough leads coming in. Because if they don't have enough leads, it's not a sales problem, it's a marketing problem. And so if
Yes.
it's a marketing problem, a platform like SendPulse can be great to automate, to warm people up, to be automated, omni-channel, talk to people more. So I would
Mhm.
say if you need more marketing, use AI to do 10 times more content, change the content to every format, text, video, audio, as much as possible. Use SendPulse to talk to all those channels, and hopefully you have enough leads. And then at the point where your current sales team can't keep up with it, you can use AI to qualify those leads. Make sure they have the budget before you get on the phone. Make sure they're ready to make a decision before you get on the phone. So there's things you use AI to filter the leads to kind of maximize the current sales team that they have.
Perfect. And you can always use SendPulse for chatbot. We also have AI on the chatbots that we provide. You can build
Yes.
flows, and you can make the leads feel more like you engage with them. So you have a connection, and you can also like qualify leads there. So it's very good. Love the tips. We have
Awesome.
another question. This one is on the backstage. We want to know if you can provide any advice for companies looking for partners with AI technology providers to find or implement their breakthrough use case.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm in a couple different AI communities, and I network with
Oh, great.
consultants. So if you can reach out to me and just arvellcraig.com, arvell.us, it's kind of hard to not find me, but I do have a network of consultants that specifically help to figure out and help people to kind of consult and be like a team member. Because sometimes you can learn,
Mhm.
but learning isn't always in this world with AI. You need to be in a community. You have to have a consultant,
Mhm.
somebody with you, because it's changing so fast. It takes an expert,
Yes.
somebody that lives in it every day, all day, to kind of give you the best
Mhm.
advice. So, but please just reach out and let me help you with find a good resource.
Oh, perfect. Now, like you said, everything's changing super fast. We need to not go for it. We have to run for it. And I
Yes.
was watching you speak and I was just like agreeing with everything. Like we can use AI for so many things that it's kind of difficult to make a list. Like there's no perfect list of, oh, this is the top 10 things you have to do with AI. No, like you can do so much more. And it's amazing to see people talking more about it. And like you, like you're all about partnerships and you're here not only to help your company and you and your business and your personal marketing, but to help others. And I think that's it, that's the future. That's what we have to do. That's the
Yeah.
the world and right now. So it's very special to have people like you and people also there here in the comments trying to learn more. So yeah, it's
Awesome.
amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Let me see if we have more questions.
Mhm.
Guys, enjoy. It's not all the time that you can ask questions. Today, especially, it's been very a difficult time to have questions. So we have some time here. Well, and we still have 3 minutes.
Oh, really?
That's it. Is
Okay.
that it? That's perfect. So yeah, I love it, everything that you said, honestly, especially with like there's something that it gets to me that is the Facebook ads because it's changing all the time. Like every
Hmm.
day is a new rule, it's a new order, it's a new change. It's crazy. So it's really difficult to keep track of all of
Yeah.
that. So it's very important to have AI to help out, like especially because we know how ads campaign are pretty important in the world right
Mhm.
now. Like you have to be seen. So
Yeah.
it's great to know that we have the powerful AI to help us in this journey.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, the biggest thing is learning how to focus. Like I said, AI can do a lot
Yes.
of things, but if it's not the core thing that your business biggest
Mhm.
need, you're not gonna. Again, it's gonna be okay, but there's such a big difference between where you use it and
Yeah,
how you use it, and that's why I'm big onto that
exactly.
consulting strategy standpoint.
Mhm.
Um, because again, even AI, even the most boring as AI things can sometimes bring the biggest benefits. It's not
Yeah.
always the shiny new fancy ones, but it's the things that, again, your bottleneck. You do it every day. You want to analyze some Google Analytics reports and you don't understand it, and just learning how to simply upload Excel sheets,
Mhm.
or if you don't know Excel, and have AI interpret those things and do that every week. That could be the biggest thing that could bring the biggest benefit, as compared to you learning how to use Midjourney and spending all day trying to figure out how to use Discord and type it right. And it's like we have to learn how to. I think it's most beneficial to focus. You can play around with it at night, but in your business, you want to find the biggest bottleneck, the biggest constraint, the biggest problems, or you want to focus.
That's a very good tip. Like focus on something, and that's what we keep saying that this entire conference. Like
Yeah.
choose your battle. Choose where you're gonna go for it, and do the best of it. And when you're a professional or a specialist on it, then you move to another one. And let's go like step by step because that's
Exactly.
the best way to do it, especially with
Yeah.
AI. There's a
Yeah.
lot,
And
and
it's
sometimes
new.
it can be
Yeah.
overwhelming. Yes.
Yeah. It's like there's no rules yet. It's still kind of new. So don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's all still being invented. So, you know.
That's it. You said everything. I keep saying this on the conferences I do in Portuguese. I keep telling people, like, please make mistakes. Mistakes are important. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how the business grows. And like, it's not like, oh my gosh, we made a mistake, it's over. No, let's learn with it. And with AI, we can learn even faster, you know? So it's very important. I agree 1000% with you.
Awesome.
So I think that's it for today, from what I'm seeing here. I
Okay.
could be wrong, but yeah, thank you so much for all your time, for the speech that you gave. It was amazing, and thank you.
Good to meet you. All right.
Good
Take
to meet
care.
you too. Bye bye. See ya.